Hope Channel, changing lives.
On the mix.
Shemeri mishobo komisheni fabuwa phobia ni ho. Sheme chiswa mini obuwa phobia. Ishukuara shami birima. Incredible movie leba. Yasi aferiye eni bireni akukosami. Amami nyame uso ya medino. Tata, Shiva Momeri, and my shinty be a mama fa. Jim Tata, Shiva Momeri, and my shinty be a mama fa. Wasam what you ever said, Yonyame, wasam what you ever said, Timo. Me say, who ya dad nyame, eta kuani meni da suwa bravo imo. Nane nyame wo kuani meni da suwa bravo imo.
Hope Channel, changing lives.
It is so great to always find myself in the studios of Hope TV Ghana, because I know I will be coming to your homes and I know you guys would just receive me with an open heart and an open arms. Because of that, I always look forward to coming on your screens every single time there's this special show called Real Talk, just to have a good conversation with some good people virtually and with you guys as well. Your comments that you leave under our post every single time gives me so much joy, because it makes me aware that you guys are listening, are discussing, are understanding or misunderstanding. At the end of the day, it all comes together in a big 360 great conversation. So I can just be grateful for you guys, for the crews at Hope TV, for my amazing panelists, and for life in general. So this week, there's just this Bible verse that has been on my heart, and I just want to share with you guys. It's Lamentations chapter 3, verse 22 to 23. It talks about the steadfast love of the Lord. It never ceases. There are new every morning, like new mercies every morning, and great is his faithfulness. This has been an encouraging message to me, and I hope it is encouraging to you as well. Regardless of what you may be going through, regardless of what life is throwing at you, all the hard balls here and there, you are still alive. And when there's life, there's hope. And when you have God, you have everything. So I just want to encourage you to just keep moving on. Do not quit. There's nothing for you back there. So look forward and just trust in the Lord, because I know when we do not lean on our own understanding, He will acknowledge us in all our ways. So today is no different from any other episode of Real Talk. We are bringing you real life conversations by real life people, having a discussion with real life people. Today I do not have anybody in the studio, just myself, but I'm not alone. I have amazing people joining me virtually, people that will keep me company, people that will help us have a very, very solid discussion. And you guys at home obviously will join in the conversation and help us have a great discussion. And you can only do so by streaming live on Facebook and YouTube with us, Hope TV Ghana. Just go on YouTube or Facebook, Hope TV Ghana, join the conversation, leave your comments under the comment section. Let us know you're enjoying the program. Let us know the things you agree with, the things you disagree with, and your general thoughts on the conversation or the story. Today, like I said earlier, I have 3 wonderful people joining me virtually, but before I introduce them to you, I would like to share our story with you. Obviously, my name is Evie, the usual hostess for the show. I come your way every single time there's Real Talk in the studios of Hope TV Ghana, and I am beautifully clothed by ATL Akosombo Textiles. They are bringing fabrics to life, and today after I'll make sure I take a picture just so you guys see my beautifully designed attire, fabrics provided by none other than ATL Akosombo Textiles. So I just want to share the story with you briefly before I go to my panelists, then we dive into the conversation. So there's this young lady. She's been dating her fiancé for 5 years now, 5 solid years, half a decade. It's quite an amount of time. So she says they've been talking about marriage. He keeps postponing every time. Oh, we'll do it this year. Oh, next year. Oh, how about next year? So year on, he keeps postponing their proposed marriage. So she went to him and said, I have realized you keep postponing this thing. What is the reason? What's the problem? And he always tells her, oh, I want to be able to raise a significant amount of money so that we can start planning. And she said, okay. Well, she waited. Another year came to pass. Another year came to pass. 3 solid times. So she said, okay, what would you say if I say that I would support you in the preparations? Is that going to be okay? She said he was so excited, and he said, oh, of course, that would be great, and we can even get married this year with your support. So she said, okay. She agreed and said, why not? Let's start planning. So they started planning. She was contributing, he was contributing, but she realized that he stopped contributing totally. He wasn't bringing in any money. She was doing everything by herself, getting the things by herself, paying for whatever, the wedding vendors here and there by herself. So her best friend, who has been helping her with the preparations, told her, realized and told her, babe, I don't think it is right for you to be spending all your money in the preparation. I mean, the man who is supposed to marry you is the one supposed to be contributing more, not the other way around. So she said this got her thinking. She's been thinking about it. Now she's almost bought everything that they would need. It's just left with their rings, which the guy is obviously supposed to raise money and buy. So she said 2 months to the wedding, this guy comes and says, oh, can you loan me money for me to buy our rings? She says she's hesitant because she feels like he's taking advantage of her. First of all, you stop contributing altogether. I have been taking care of everything by myself, and knowing the culture we live in Ghana, your weddings are not cheap. They can be quite expensive. She's been doing everything by herself. And just for you to get us our rings, you come to me and ask for a loan, obviously, a loan. And she feels like he doesn't want to use his money to buy anything to marry her. She's wondering if just 2 months to the wedding, she should cancel it or just give him the money for him to get the rings, and then hopefully he gives it back. Or is that going to show that she married herself, basically, or she went to marry a man? Or is there more to this than she is seeing? Is it that he doesn't want to marry her, or he doesn't want to spend his money, or he's just taking advantage of her, or he's just not interested in spending his money at all? So this is the story that we have on our tables today. It's a very, very interesting one. I think it is one that we all need to listen to, understand, and try and give some sort of support or advice to this young woman, because 2 months 2 months to your wedding, that's very, very close. I'm sure by this time almost everything has been paid for by her, and they just need the ring. So it's a difficult situation. You can't just say, oh, get up and leave or stay. So you guys share your comments under the comment section, Hope TV Ghana. Let me know what is going through your mind, even as I have the discussion with my virtual panelists. So on that note, let me introduce you to my amazing panelists. Joining me all the way from the United States of America, the state of Ohio, I have Nadeline Enchi. Nadeline, good evening.
Good evening.
How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm very, very well. Thank you so much. By the way, how is Ohio? How are you guys faring?
We're doing fairly well. It's hot, very hot. So we're competing with Ghana right now.
Oh, really? Do you know what is funny? Ghana is actually cold nowadays.
Oh, really?
Yes, the rains have come in, so we are experiencing our form of winter or whatever, and you are probably experiencing summer over there. So we've exchanged.
Very much summer. Very much summer.
Right. But Nadeline, before I go on to my other panelists, you just heard the story. What is running through your mind?
Plenty, but not too much.
Okay.
not too much. I think immediately what comes through my mind is the focus needs to be for her about a marriage and not just a wedding. I think oftentimes we focus a lot on the wedding and the actual ceremony versus the marriage.
Right.
And then another thing that's going through my mind is because I am also Ghanaian, and I know that with cultural preferences, the man needs to be contributing and so on and so forth. But I think in our culture now, we have to take a step back and realize when you're marrying somebody, it's more of a commitment than the things and the items that you're using for the ceremony.
Okay.
The ceremony is probably just a little part of the whole marriage, and that should be considered in this situation quite a bit. So that's what is going through my mind right now. That's what I can offer.
Okay, thank you. I'm sure I'll come back to you and pick your mind on the other questions. Thank you so much, Nadeline. So moving on, the next person I have joining me is Mrs. Deborah Osei. Deborah, good evening. How are you doing?
Good evening, Evie. I'm doing well by God's grace. You?
I am doing amazingly well. Thank you so much. It's so great to have you joining us today. You are married, so I'm sure you had a lot of preparations, and I'm sure you bought things and you paid vendors and all that. So hearing the story, what comes to mind, looking at your experience, do you think it's something that you would have done, or you don't see anything wrong with a woman paying most of what is supposed to be paid for the marriage ceremony?
Evie, this story is quite interesting.
Right.
Because I see every woman to be excited, especially when it's getting to her marriage ceremony.
Right.
And it saddens my heart that this lady is not. Because the things that has gone involved in their relationship and what she's currently facing. Because looking at things, I see the guy to be taking really advantage of the lady.
Okay.
That's my take on it. So, because he sees that, after all, he said he wasn't ready because he's waiting for a significant amount of money before maybe they tie the knots or whatever. But and the lady, so even when you look at the story very well, you could see that it's the lady that even opted for them to marry. If he will support, she tends to support him, and he live in an excitement too. It's quite sad because they all agreed and they moved on, but the lady took a jumping step and the guy is still at where he was, meaning that he's having no interest in even the marriage ceremony or even marrying her in general. That's what I could say. If it could have happened to me, I don't know what I would have done. Really.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially 2 months to the ceremony.
Your wedding. And you get to be thinking of all this. It's so disheartening.
I can just imagine. I agree completely with you. Thank you so much, Deborah, for that. And my last, but definitely not least guest joining me virtually is Pastor Patrick Obeng Jamera. Pastor, good evening.
Good evening, my sister.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great, by God's grace.
Thank God for that. And Pastor, you've heard the story, you've heard the discussion so far. I mean, as a man, do you think it is the responsibility of the man to pay most of the wedding expenses? Do you think it's supposed to be 50-50? Or you think the man is supposed to cater for, let's say, 80 and the woman is supposed to cater for 60? What is your take on that aspect of the story?
It's obvious the man is supposed to take the majority.
Okay.
Because he's the head. He has to be proven that he is capable of taking care of a woman.
Right.
So if you are going to take care of the woman and you can't even pay for your wedding expenses, then what is the probability that you can take care of the woman? So the man is supposed to be a man.
Right.
And to be a man is to take control over your own wedding expenses.
Okay. So Pastor says the man is supposed to be the head, and so because of that, he's supposed to take control of the wedding expenses and pay more. And that goes to show that he can take care of his wife and his family. So I'm sure you guys agree or probably disagree. So leave it under the comment section and let us hear your thoughts. But coming to you again, Nadlin, how much support, in your opinion, should a woman give to her husband or her husband to be in terms of preparing the marriage? Is it wrong if she gives more? Is it unacceptable? What is your take on that?
So I think I'm coming from a different perspective,
right.
Being in the Western world, right?
Which we appreciate on Real Talk. I mean, different from perspective makes the conversation
so I think it's a whole different, I mean, being that my whole life was spent here, I think I definitely have a different take on it. And okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with a woman helping her spouse or her spouse to be with wedding expenses. I think the marriage is the focus. Once again, I think I said that before. The focus should be the marriage because that's the long term. That's what's gonna last. The wedding is, and the expenses and those things is just one day. So the story from where I see is just, yes, I think you should be able to help, even if you help more, because marriage is not always 50-50. Sometimes it's 80-90, sometimes it's 100-0, sometimes it's 90-10. I mean, and that's the part that I think young ladies and young men both have to realize, that a marriage is long-term. I think God intended for it to be long-term. And you know, when it brings up the verse that you said right in front of, before your show started, the steadfast love of the Lord, it never ceases. And so when you think about a marriage, it has nothing to do with the two of you. It's more about helping each other to get to heaven. And when you realize the purpose of marriage, you understand the reason why you're doing what you're doing. And when you understand the reason why you're doing what you're doing, sacrificing becomes a non-factor for you, if I may say so. And once again, I'm going to say I'm very westernized in my opinions and my views. So I know that may not be the popular opinion here, but I really still do believe in the principles of God, and God is love. And if God is love, this is what he's expecting for us to do. So she may be paying for everything for their wedding ceremony, but in 10 years, he may be taking care of her and the children for the rest of her life. Right.
But it's very, very interesting you say this, Nadlin, and I just love the difference in opinions and perspective, especially on a show like this, because obviously this is a show for the young adults and everybody has their own opinion. So it's great to hear all these very different opinions. But looking at the story in itself, where the man stopped contributing totally without pre-informing the woman, without letting her know, oh, I want to, but I don't have. Do you think that is where it's a bit shady, or you think that, well, you said you would help, so if you were helping, then what is the big deal?
Well, I think there's some shadiness there, and there's a lack of trust. There's a lack of trust there. So prior to her even waiting before the 2 months, I think she should have sort of understood his patterns before she got to just 2 months before the wedding. There is a lot of lack of trust, because if I agreed to help, and I agreed to help based on the fact that we're all going to be doing it together. So at some point, if I stop helping, there's a problem.
Right.
There's an issue there that has caused me to stop helping. There should have been a discussion at that time between the man and the woman to both figure out, why have you stopped helping, and do we proceed? And is this what we still want to do? That conversation never happened. And that's where, once again, there's the lack of trust and the shadiness that could be seen from that side of it, because that's when you should have stopped. I'm not saying that, you should continue and just jump in it and do it because you have 2 months, because if you get into it even 2 months and you're not happy, that's a lifetime of unhappiness.
Right.
I'd rather stop the wedding than go through a lifetime of unhappiness.
I completely agree with you. My mom once said, if on the night of the wedding you realize you can't do it, come home. I mean, because that is the rest of your life. Right.
I'm with what your mom said.
But Pastor, listening to Nadeline, who is on the other side of, let's say, the coast, or the coast, and looking at how they do things there. But Ghana is quite cultural in the sense of a man showing he's a man by what he can provide for his wife and his family. And looking at this and looking at our story, do you fault the woman for going ahead and paying more of the expenses? Do you think she should have stopped and said, we said we are doing this together and I need you to bring your whatever percent so that I can bring my whatever percent? Or you think that it's okay for her to have gone ahead and continue to buy almost everything, and now they just need to get just rings for the ceremony, and even that he's asking for a loan? Yeah, Pastor.
All right. Genesis 2:18 is very clear that the woman is supposed to be a helpmeet of the man, meaning the woman is supposed to help the man. Now, the Bible did not. Genesis 2:18 is very clear that the woman is to put into the marriage or to help the man, in as much as there is understanding. There is no, like, I agree with my sister that there's no like 80%, 50%. No. There may be a time that even the woman will contribute more than the man. Other time too, the man can even contribute 100%.
Right.
It is about understanding and situation base.
Right.
But in this sense, still, if you are a man and you are going to marry, at least there should be you should prove that you are really ready for the marriage, because you are the head of the family. You are the leader of the family. So if now you are proving that you can't take care of even the wedding expenses, what is the probability that when you get married, you will be able to take care of the wife as well as the children? So I don't have a problem with how much the woman will put in to help the man. In as much as there's understanding, in as much as there is a kind of consensus, I don't have a problem. But in this case, the guy is taking an advantage over the lady, which the lady have to be careful.
Pastor says the guy is taking advantage of the lady because the Bible clearly says that we are supposed to be helpmates to the man.
Exactly.
And in this case, it looks like she's taking over the role of the sole provider, and he is now doing the helpmate thing. And even now on, He's not going all out to do it. But Deborah, coming to you quickly. I just want your opinion on how much do you think a woman should contribute towards her wedding? Do you think it's 50-50? Do you think she's supposed to bring less than the man? Do you think she's supposed to bring more? And then I want your opinion on the best friend. Do you think she was the one that placed this doubt in her friend's mind? Do you think she should have brought her friend's mind to this issue of I think you're contributing too much, let the guy do it? Or is there an issue of she was looking out for her friend? Or you think she should have just sat somewhere, mind her business, and then sip some tea and then concentrate on her life?
Okay, with the percentage issue, and basically, I don't think there should be a percentage because it depends on every relationship.
Right.
It depends on the financial status of both couples in the relationship. A woman can have. But the issue here is, what have you agreed on? Because in the first place, marriage is a teamwork. That requires that both people combine their efforts in making their life great. That's what I think marriage should be.
Right.
And it doesn't matter how much this person is contributing, but in a situation whereby we've teamed up to do something and it seems that maybe one person has taken the lead more than the other. If the man takes the lead more than the wife, to some extent, I will agree because he's a man. And even in our it says that it's the man that marries a woman.
Right.
And not the other way around. Even if the man can't even afford basically all the wedding expenses or the chunk portion of the wedding expenses, he should be able to provide the core things that you use in marrying a woman. In that sense, the person has contributed. And probably if the lady has so much that she can spend on the other things, it's fine. It depends on both parties and where they are going and what they want to see themselves together, how they want to raise their family, how they want each other to develop. It entails a whole lot. So I think even if a man doesn't even have, and the woman can even take maybe 99% or 99.9%, at least the man should do something for the woman to know that he is involved.
Right.
She hasn't been let alone. And with the other issue about the best friend, definitely when you are doing things, people watch. Even if you don't communicate,
right?
They watch. If you get someone like me, I can observe and know what your intentions are, what you want to do, and others. So definitely, people will get to know that she's the one sponsoring the wedding. She's the one in the first marrying the man.
Right.
So I think the doubt was there, but I thought she needed someone to bring her mind back on that. So when the friend hits on that, then it got her thinking, I might be making a mistake. Probably wouldn't make a mistake, but it's brought the attention, meaning that she herself, she has thought about it somewhere before.
Right.
It was just like a reminder. She was reminded, and I think the friend did well too.
Okay. It's
good to have such friends. Just that she shouldn't pose her nose in it so much, at least. She has made her friend know what she's doing and the consequences of it.
Right.
Because if at the end of the day you marry the guy and he turns out to be opportunist, he's taking advantage of your situation because he sees that, I would say that the lady is desperate for them to get married.
Okay.
And he's taking advantage of that. And since you said you are the one who wants to, you want us to get married and you have money, then sponsor and let's go. God, you end up taking all the bills in the house, taking care of even him, yourself, and the kids in the house. Will you be able to bear? So the lady should also sit down and answer these questions. If she's okay with it, fine. She can go ahead and do. But if she knows that she will live to regret, I will always say something like, something that I know I can't finish, I won't touch at all.
Right.
So if she knows she can't continue with it, they should sit down, talk at length, and let the guy know, even if he's
okay,
not
Deborah, I think your passion has gone into the last question. So please hold on with your thoughts on that. I'll come to you and ask you what you think she should do. Okay, so as you can see, the discussion has been very interesting. Deborah wants to share all her thoughts, but I wanted to hold on because that question will come soon for her. But you guys joining me from home on Hope TV, whether on Facebook or on YouTube, please leave your comments under the comment section. I'll make sure I read some before I go. We have to go for a quick break, but Natalie, when we come back from the break, I want to take your opinion on the best friend's role, and if you think she played the role of a best friend, or you think she went too far. As women, you know, women there, we can do small kokonsa. So I'd like to take your opinion on that. So please prepare that. We would like to go for a quick break. We are taking some messages from our sponsors, ATL, bringing fabrics to life. My print is very, very beautiful, and I would encourage you to go out there and go and get one for yourself. So go for a quick break. When we come back, the story or the discussion continues. Do not go anywhere. This is Real Talk. We'll be right back.
Whatever the occasion, with ATL, you can never be out of style. ATL, bringing fabric to life.
In fact, Valley View University is a school that I'm always proud to be associated with. It has, in fact, increased my confidence level. And when I was going through this interview for the teacher prize, it was exhibited there. And if the panelists could appreciate my competency level at that time, it is as a result of Valley View University. They will add additional values to the academic content that each and every school may probably present to you. I want to recommend Valley View University for anyone who wants to further his or her education. Come, and Valley View will prepare you holistically.
Come back from that quick break. We are still in the studios of Hope TV Ghana, bringing you your favorite show, Real Talk. My name is Evie, and joining me virtually, I have Nadeline Entry all the way from the States. I have Pastor Patrick Obenjamera. He's joining me virtually as well, and Mrs. Deborah Osei. If you just joined us, we are still talking about our story of this young lady who's been dating a boyfriend for 5 years, and she says he kept postponing their marriage year on year. So she went to him and said, would you be okay if I support you? If I do support you, how soon can we get married? Can we do that this year? And he says, why not? I mean, he was excited about it, and they decided to do that. But she realized that along the way, he stopped contributing altogether, and she was doing everything by herself. Her best friend cautioned her and said, I think you're taking on too much, and it's the man's responsibility to pay most of the thing or contribute to most of the wedding expenses. And because of that, she said it got her thinking, and she's been some way about buying most of the things. Now 2 months to the wedding, they do not have rings, and she knows the guy is supposed to be buying the rings. He comes and asks for loan and says, give me some loan to buy the rings, I'll pay you back. And she says she's hesitant because I've been doing most of the things by myself, and just for the rings too, you're asking me to loan you some money. She's wondering if he just doesn't want to use this money to marry her, or he's taking advantage of her, or she's just being I don't know the word to use, maybe unwise by being the one taking care of all the bills. So we've been having the conversation, and today's discussion has been so interesting because our panelists obviously have their own opinions, which I am grateful for and I love. The difference in opinions will bring the reality on the ground to this discussion. I have seen on social media, I asked for it. I asked you guys to comment, and now I can't even keep up. You guys are blowing the comment sections up with all your comments. I'll try to read a few before we continue so that I can read as many as I can. This one is from Kwabena AJ, who says, I disable that love is blind spell on you in Jesus' name. Now go ahead and press the reset button. He's not worth it. Flee, my sister, flee. Gabriel Kofi says, what is it in wedding that you girls can't do away with? It's about time pastors tell you the truth. The wedding is just a ceremony. Marriage takes place when the dowry is paid and accepted by both families. Every culture has its own way of marriage. You are stressing men with this wedding issue. I met my woman 3 months. I did knocking. 1 year we married the traditional way, and 4 years on we are living happily. This wedding thing that is eating our girls' mind must stop. There are more responsibilities after marriage. Save money for that. To me, I don't think you're mature enough to get married, because if your friend hadn't been real with you, you couldn't have noticed it yourself. When you marry and problems come, you are likely to wash your dirty clothes outside. Okay. Samokoni says, well, you have even wasted precious time, and that was your first mistake you did. You know the scripture doesn't permit that. Second, you cannot marry yourself, my dear. It wouldn't have been bad if you were assisting, but for you to marry yourself, it is a big no-no. Please stop now. Okay, Frimpong Sheila says, my dear, don't marry him. Oh, you are taking care of your traditional and wedding dress and wants you to take care of the ring too. My advice is, please advise yourself. Amma Asari says, sweetheart, please stop. Why? If he really loves you, he should save up the money and buy the rings. The help you have given is enough. It's better you uproot the young tree now before it grows big. Someone dancer says, hi, your highness, be patient and continue to provide the items to your fiancé for the marriage ceremony. After all, you've done everything. Do not stop to provide the rings for your wedding. In so doing, God will bless you, your highness. Okay. Richmond Nyako says, please, madam, this is a sign of future divorce. Please, 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 and please again, don't try to proceed with this marriage, my dear, because it will not work. Excuse me to say, but that's the truth. Have you seen that you're more interested in it than the guy? Which is wrong. A man must pay your bride price, not you. If you do that, the man in future will end up accusing you of giving him money to marry you. The man is lying, so be careful. And the painful part is that he got what he wanted, so there is no need. Okay. Let me see. I'm trying to find another. Okay, so this one is from Mogisi. He says, cancel everything or else you live the rest of your life regretting. A man who truly loves you, a simple ring cannot be a problem raising money for. How will he be able to cater for his family? Okay, I'll try and come back and read some of the comments. So Adeline, before we went, I was asking you your point or your opinion on the role of the best friend in all this. She cautioning her friend and saying, hey, by you, the way you're spending money buying everything, do you think it's wise? The man is supposed to be spending more. So please calm down on the spending. What is your take there? Do you think that was a friend looking out for a friend? Do you think that was her poking her nose in people's business? Do you think she should have just kept quiet and sat her somewhere? Nadlin? Nadlin, you're muted.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes,
can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I feel like I'm the oddball out here because I'm very different.
I really love, honestly.
But I mean, as far as the best friend is concerned, just from the basis of the story and not having any background, I think she was being a good friend cautioning you when you are going into a situation that's not going to be helpful. So I think she was being a good friend by cautioning her. The ultimate decision is up to this young lady. Just because she cautions doesn't mean that you have to agree with her as well. It just means that she's cautioning you because she's seen what needs to be done. Like I stated before, the conversation of marriage and the money needed to happen before 2 months.
Right.
And she's kind of waited a little bit, she went into a little bit further, and now she's at a point where it's becoming very critical. On one of your viewers' comments too, though, I feel like in our culture, as much as I respect marriage and I respect bride price and dowry, we do put a lot of pressure on men that just don't have the capability sometimes, and we feel like we make it harder for them to pursue or even marriage. Marriage is very notable in the Bible. It talks, marriage is a good thing, but there's a lot of pressure that's put on men, especially when it comes to weddings and things you're looking for. I'm going to repeat it again. The wedding day is only one part of your marriage, which is a lifetime.
Right. Thank you so much. Nadlin, before I go, I'm on you again. Do you think she should loan the money to this fiance of his? I mean, so, like, you remember someone said in the comments, you've bought everything, so why don't you go ahead and just pay for the rings as well? Or you think she should insist that as for this one, dear, you have to raise the money yourself?
I think she definitely needs to have a conversation before she gives the money. I think that before she spends any more time, any more finances, any more anything, I think there needs to be a conversation, a very serious conversation. Because if that is her belief that at least buy the ring, then, hey, me dear, I'll say, sister, wait a minute. Let him have the understanding before you go any further.
Right.
Because if you loan him the money, I don't know if husband and wives are supposed to loan each other money. Me dear, I'm confused as to how that will work. Who's going to pay? Are they going to have payment plan or which one? Yeah, I don't know about that one. So I don't know how that loaning of the thing will be. It will just be like you are just paying for the ring.
Right.
So I think they need to have a definite conversation before they proceed.
Okay. Nadlin says you need to have a conversation before there's any proceeding in this case. Pastor, do you think she should go ahead and loan the guy the money? He says, so give me the money, I'll pay back. Or you think she should tell him, nah, for this one, dear, you have to go and find the money elsewhere and pay for the rings?
To me, she's not supposed to give any loan to the guy. And my reason is simple. It seems like, as I said earlier on, the guy is taking an advantage of the woman. Now the question is, what if he refuses to pay the money back after the wedding, which is very obvious, looking at how the guy is behaving.
Right.
It is very obvious that he will not pay. He's only using the term loan. He just wants the woman to buy the ring. But because the lady now is complaining that now no, all the expenses is now on me, he's now using an alternative just to say, oh, just give it the money, I will give it back after the wedding. But what is the guarantee that is going to pay? So to me, the woman should not agree. If the guy is really serious, he will find his own way of buying the ring. Now, let me also bring this to our listeners and viewers, that wedding, taking your marriage to church for the pastor to bless it is a very good thing. But it is sometimes the way we ourselves bring the cost to ourselves that has been like, wedding is bad, wedding is bad. Wedding itself is not bad, but it is sometimes the way we carry it, because we have something we call, you cut your coat according to your size.
Right.
But sometimes we try to, we imitate people or sometimes we try to copy people or other things. And this has been bringing a lot of problems to couples. But to me, you look at yourself, you look at your finances, and you go by that. That shouldn't be a problem, you know. But it is a good thing that when you want to marry, it's a good thing. You send your marriage to the church for a pastor to bless it. It is very, very important.
Right. It is important to have your marriage blessed by a pastor or a man of God in church. But
exactly.
Like the pastor says, the unnecessary expenses are what is giving the ceremony itself a bad name. Deborah,
exactly.
Coming to you, do you think this lady should loan her husband to be the money? Pastor thinks he is not going to pay back. Nadine thinks, I haven't seen a situation where a wife or a husband loans money to each other because it's supposed to be our money. Who is loaning who the money and who is going to pay? And obviously, coming to you finally with a question of what should she do? Stay and marry the guy or leave and cancel the wedding? I know this is one that you are very eager to give your opinion on. So over to you, Deborah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
When I was reading the story, I asked myself, what kind of work does the guy do? And I asked the question, what kind of marriage ceremony have they opted to do?
Right.
Pastor says a key thing here, that we should do things based on our codes. So we should cut our codes according to the materials that we have.
Right.
Probably you may have 1 yard of a material and you want to sew a dress that uses 10 yards too. Definitely, it won't be possible.
Right.
So when I was asking myself that, I came to a conclusion that then they should opt for a wedding that can meet the financial needs of the guy if probably the work that he's doing doesn't fetch so much money. And focus on their lifetime together, because really that's what's important. People will come, they will enjoy themselves, they will go. What is left for you to enjoy is you guys, the two of you. Right. The amount of money that we have left. Some people even end up being divorced even the first week of their marriage due to a whole lot of these things. And with the amount of money that I don't know the amount of money that the guy wants to use to buy the ring. What kind of ring are they going to buy? If he can't afford a more expensive ring, for now, you know that your finances are not that well good. And the lady too know. So you guys can sit down, talk at length at it, decide firstly on the marriage ceremony, whether you change your style. And the ring too, he can buy the affordable ones. When he gets money, he can buy the most expensive one to another lady.
Right. And
he himself. So to me, I think she shouldn't loan the ring money to him. He should, if he still wants to buy what they've insisted on buying, he can probably get a loan elsewhere. Because as my two colleagues said, if you get married, definitely the money is for both of you. Whose money is this and whose money is this? You make expenses, you plan your future together.
Right.
So you end up even paying for the loan yourself. So I don't think she should. So she shouldn't. And if I could get the answers of the things that I asked, the work that the guy does, his financial status, the kind of marriage that they've opted to have, that would have helped me to really make my conclusion.
Okay.
Because currently, I don't know whether probably it's because of the extravagant nature of the wedding that the lady wants. That's why the guy is no more into that. So he doesn't have the means of saying to the girl to hurt her feelings, or the guy has even lost interest in the lady. And she has ended up, I would say maybe in a way, excuse me to say, forcing marriage on the guy. Because looking at things, that's when you read the story just like that, that's how it seems. that she's forcing the marriage, because anytime that the issue of marriage will pop up, it will be from the lady.
Right.
And it has led to 3 different postponements of their wedding.
Right.
So they should sit down, talk at length. When she after talking to, she should also investigate more. She should at least even if you could have maybe if you come from work, your guy or your fiancé will take your bag home for you. He will pamper you, and now it has changed. You could notice.
Right.
If he should not, if she has noticed changes in the guy aside these that we are talking about, and she think that the guy wouldn't help her, probably because he has lost interest in her. That's why let her to go on with the marriage preparation herself. Then I think she should call off the wedding, even though it's really hard.
Okay.
It's sad. Even people, but I think it's better that way than a lifetime of grief, sadness, and a whole lot of regret. That's what I could say.
Thank you so much, Deborah. Pastor, what should this lady do? Should she go ahead and marry this guy, or you think she should cancel the wedding, or maybe you think she should take a pause, or they should postpone again? What is your take? Hello, Pastor, are you there? Pastor, you are muted. If you could unmute yourself. Yeah, hello? Pastor is still muted. If you can hear me, kindly unmute yourself and join the conversation. But, Nadlin, coming to you. Finally, your final words to this lady. What should she do? Leave or stay? Marry or cancel? Or postpone?
From the lack of background that I have, it's hard to make that determination. But what I will say is I would not go ahead with anything that I'm having doubts about. And it sounds like from what she has expressed in her letter, she is having severe doubts.
Right.
And until she can get rid of the doubts, there's no reason to get married. I mean, there's no reason to get into something. I think, that's one thing we all agree on. This is a lifetime.
Right.
You don't get to get married and say, I'm giving him loan, or he owes me $10, whatever. I don't think you get to do that. So I think there's definitely a conversation. And if she's having doubts, if she's having this much doubts about the whole situation, then definitely there needs to be a pause, not another postponement. There needs to be a pause to the marriage period.
Right. There needs to be a pause. Great. I can hear Pastor in the background. Pastor, if you're back, your final words to this lady and what she should do.
All right, I think you can hear me.
Yes, I can.
All right. Matthew chapter 10, verse 16 says we should be wise as serpents. I think it's not too late for the lady to pull out. In fact, probably all these things happening must be a sign, or it should be a sign for her that maybe going forward, she's going to suffer or be disappointed in the marriage. So what I would say is, she is there. She should follow her heart.
Okay.
And also, she should listen to her instincts, which is very, very important. Because she has moved with a guy for the past 5 years.
Right.
And so I believe she now knows the guy better. And so I will not say she should continue or she should not.
Okay.
But during wedding ceremony, you see, even on the D-Day, before the pastor proclaims you husband and wife, the pastor will even ask 2 of you that if there's anything that will bring a problem, or if there's anything that will be an obstacle for you, your marriage not to be materialized, you should say it. Even at that time, you have the opportunity to pull out.
Right.
So to me, 2 months is enough time for the lady to evaluate everything and then decide accordingly by following her heart and listening to her instincts.
Right. Follow your heart and listen to your instincts is what Pastor is telling this lady to do. Nadlin says, I wouldn't do anything I have doubts about. Talk about it and see what to do. Deborah says, you guys need to sit down, have a conversation before you decide to move forward or not. And so let me pick some comments before we go. This is from Obapa Kode. She says, to be honest, after reading this, I feel the guy is not willing to settle down with you. You have been pressuring him to marry you. That is why he keeps postponing. And when you want to help too, he's showing this behavior. How is he going to cater for the home after marriage? Will you be comfortable and happy if he doesn't take care of you after marriage? Are you sure looking at his character now you can cope? Remember, love is really important in relationships and marriage, but money too is very, very necessary. Don't force to be married, my sister. If it's left with just a day, you only have the power to decide. Okay. Nina Enin says, my dear, it's good to help, but it should be a shared affair. Sit him down and talk to him. Ask him if he's financially sound for this or he wants to downside. Ask him for his priorities. A man who loves you genuinely expresses fears to you and you will see the way forward. Don't let him waste your time and his. If he isn't financially supportive now, my dear, he will never be. Hannah Danko says, maybe the guy is seeing another lady and knowing you've been together for a long time, he can't tell you that you guys should quit. So he's doing that to provoke you so that you say it to yourself that you're tired. So you want to quit. Don't let the date scare you. Even at the altar cry, you can quit. So earlier the better, or else you be the head instead of a neck to support the guy. Okay, I'm picking some from the live conversation. This one is from Ankoma Inchi, who says, very interesting topic under discussion. Please, is the guy working? I think these are early signs for the lady to see whether the guy is responsible enough to shoulder his responsibility. I'll urge the lady to take her time and do further research about the guy's family background to ascertain whether such behaviors are prevalent in his family. If such behaviors are found, there's a probability of the guy being irresponsible. Okay. Onyankropon Ba Princess. Oh, Onyankopon Ba Prince says, this has been a great discussion and very educative to all couples and to all those preparing to marry. Thank you so much, Prince. So Dogbe Francis says, I am Francis. I dated my wife for 5 years. Frankly speaking, before our marriage ceremony, I was totally broke and my wife supported most of the marriage. I supported, but not as much as she did. And I'm very grateful and never ever regretted being married. Now things are normal and we are moving on. Blessed with 2 beautiful baby girls. That's a fantastic story, Francis. But the issue is, I'm sure you and your wife had a conversation. She knew the financial issues you people had, and she agreed to it. That's beautiful. Stephen Mensah says, thanks for this perspective, real talk. You guys are impacting our lives. Watching live from Ghana Christian University College Campus, Accra. Thank you so much. Evan Kofi. Hi, Evan. Evan says, Evie, this is a very interesting topic. I think in preparing for marriage, certain things must be bought by the man, indicating he's capable of taking care of you. If not, the man is likely to blame the wife in the future for pressuring him into marriage. Unfortunately, I can't read all your comments. I tried, but our time is fast spent. I'd like to say a huge thank you to my panelists. I had Nadlin Entry all the way from Ohio, Mrs. Deborah Osei, and Pastor Patrick Obeng Jamera. You guys have been amazing. I liked the difference in opinions today. Everybody had their own opinion. That's really mattered. We saw what people do in other countries, from Nadlin, from her experience, the Ghanaian, but born and bred in the States. We also heard from Mrs. Deborah, who is married, and obviously shared her experience as to whether she would or she would not do, and finally what she thinks these guys should do. Pastor also brought the perspective of the Bible, what a man is supposed to do, and what a woman is supposed to do. So it was, in my opinion, a very comprehensive and 360 conversation. I think every aspect of the story has been discussed. So the lady, if you're listening to us today, I would just like to say that take a cue from all my panelists. I mean, whether you want to cancel, that is part of, go with your heart. Whether you want to continue, like Nadlin and Debbie said, sit down and have the conversation. But if you're having doubts, either you take a pause and not go ahead and make sure all the doubts are resolved before you move on. But again, this culture of expensive weddings, especially in Africa, predominantly Ghana, we need to have a look at it. We do not need to have, I mean, very extravagant weddings, because honestly, it's just a day. Just get your clothes, in my opinion, get a great photography, because that's the memory, and take the dopest picture you can ever take, because that's what you keep looking back on. The food, whatever you provide, somebody will tell you it wasn't nice. Whatever decor you will do, somebody will tell you it was too dark. Whatever, in fact, your clothes, you can get pistis. Ghana here is pistis that is raining to sew your wedding gown for you, and somebody somewhere will sit at the back, take a picture and say that the dress is crooked or whatever. So please, whatever you do, people will talk about it. Do things that you are happy with. If you can afford the expensive weddings, great, have it. If you can't, do what is best for you. Like Pastor clearly said, hold the hand of your wife, go to church, bless your marriage before God. Your family already accepted you guys. You are married, you live your life. 20-something years down the line, nobody will remember that, oh, you came to stand in front of the church and nobody will remember, really. Nobody will. So please, let's try and do things that we'll be comfortable with. Most of us are doing things that we are waiting for people to appreciate us for, and not because we are happy with. Now it is your salary cry, you can't, if you don't know where it goes, and then you're going to use it to plan an expensive wedding. The way Accra has become, Accra live by plan. You dear, you want to spend all your money on weddings. Please, 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 let's be wise and let's be strategic. And also the young man, if it's financial difficulties, I think when you couldn't contribute after a moment, like everybody said, you should have spoken to your wife. And 5 years, no woman would want to sit 5 years and not know what is going on, and the postponing and the postponing and the postponing. And again, maybe the woman should have asked her fiance, oh, what is your budget, so that they could work around it, then she can top up. Then that way they could have all agreed and had a beautiful wedding. But with the issue of these 2 rings, dear, I don't know. In my opinion, if you can loan it from your wife, you can loan it from family. So I don't know, maybe you should see someone else and loan, or better still, like Deborah said, get a ring that your money can afford. After some years, you get a great ring. I saw this, time is fast spent, but I think Majin Michelle and his wife, when they got married, they couldn't have the exorbitant wedding, so they had a small one. 10 years down the line, they had the most beautiful wedding they both desired, because now they have the money and they can afford. So please, let's be smart in these decisions. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for leaving your comments. Today the comments were a lot, and I really enjoyed it. So thank you so much. We'll be on your screen same time next week with yet another exciting story and another amazing set of panelists. My panelists today, thank you so much. God richly bless you. You guys were amazing. And those of you at home, thank you so much for tuning in and for sharing your thoughts with us. To the crew at Hope TV Ghana, I always say you guys are stars. Thank you so much. I'll be back same time next week. My name is Evie. Enjoy the rest of your day.